Hi, welcome to the Hyperfixated Fan. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hunter.
Today we're going to be talking about another Ghibli movie, Princess Mononoke.
Yes, so it's a Studio Ghibli movie, Studio Ghibli, whatever your preference is, both are correct. It's another Miyazaki film, so that's that beautiful art style that we talked about with Howl's as well.
Yeah.
Which, God, I love it. It's always so pretty.
And also I have notes on that.
The art is so good. And it's just, it also gets into like the you're following like a gorgeous story, but also gets into the question of morals and the balance of good and bad and where do you draw that line, which I adore about this movie because there is no right answer.
No, exactly.
Which is my favorite thing about it. There is there is one person that I may argue is possibly the bad guy. But there's one person that I personally, on my personal opinion, is the bad guy. Everyone else, though, there's no specific, that's a bad person.
It's not, like, cut and dry.
Exactly.
That's the point.
That's the point of it. There's no one who's good or bad or pure in one morality or the other. And it's delightful, and also...
We can talk about it.
It's a spectacularly beautiful way to tell that story.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love it.
So this was the first time I watched Princess Mononoke yesterday.
Yeah.
So I've been meaning to watch it, but like before yesterday, all I knew about it was like the "I'll kill you and you're beautiful" meme.
The meme!
And then,
the dagger to the throat
Yeah,
meme.
that one's really good. And then also I knew like there were wolves involved, but like I didn't really know anything else. I thought it was like very much like samurai period, like in the woods. I don't know.
Technically all correct.
I mean, yeah, but there's definitely way more industrialization than I was expecting.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, like we're doing that.
And technically you did know one other thing, although I don't know if it ever actually or if it's still stuck in your brain, but a couple years ago at Anime Frontier, I think, we sat in on a panel about like Japanese folklore and yokai. Yeah. And the guy told us that the name Mononoke is from the words it means essentially like evil spirit.
Yeah.
She's Princess Evil Spirit.
Yeah.
Which
is confusing because I was like, her name's not Mononoke. I was so
confused. Her name is not, but it's a title that's given to her by Eboshi.
Yeah.
Because she is she calls her the princess of the spirits and the princess of these gods. These forest gods and nature spirits, but to the people of Irontown, she's considered this dangerous and evil spirit. Yeah, because she puts the people at risk. Yeah, so that's where the name comes from.
No, it makes sense.
Which. Yeah, that's not something that registers to an American audience.
No,
Princess Evil Spirit.
Yeah,
but it does register to the Japanese audience.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, whenever we were in that panel, I was like, "That's so fascinating," and it makes so much sense. Yeah, and it burned itself into my brain.
Yeah, that panel was good. Japanese yokai. Yeah, they usually have one like at anime conventions. Yeah, so I've like gone to multiple ones where they've had like a similar panel.
That was such a cool panel. I did learn that yokai doesn't necessarily mean ghost, it just means like unexplained phenomenon.
Yes.
Or at least initially. Now it's become like it's a Japanese spirit specifically.
Yeah.
But I learned that means Bigfoot technically counts as a yokai, and I am never letting that go.
Yeah, it's cool.
That was a cool panel. That guy did like 3 of them. He also did one on like just specifically like cat spirits of Japan.
Yeah, I bought the book, the cat spirit book.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, okay. I also learned that just in gathering my notes for this that speaking of the title Princess Mononoke, it was at one point like I think Miyazaki wanted to call it like the legend of Ashitaka or something that's focusing on him rather than on San. I don't know that I saw why they initially went for Mononoke, but that was proposed as a potential name for it as well.
Okay,
which I just thought was kind of interesting.
No, that is interesting. It's hard to title such a film.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been like the Battle for Irontown.
Yeah, it could have
like
been
How
so
to
many
Kill a
things.
God.
Like, it could have been so many things because so much is going on. So, like I said, it was not what I expected at all. So.
I think it's interesting because the movie seems to go in like stages. Because you start like in like the village for the Amishi.
Yeah.
And it starts very like small scale with like Ashitaka's people, the Amishi, which, fun fact, they are a real people.
Okay.
And like when
I figured they probably were, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know a lot about Japanese history and culture.
I saw this, I think, on like initially I think a Tumblr post a long time ago, but the Amishi people, like, Jigo makes a comment about those people died 500 years ago, so don't worry, I won't spill your secrets, we won't tell people where they are.
Yeah.
Like, they were just a very isolated community. But I saw a story that there was a woman who, like, a Japanese woman who, like, her kid was watching Princess Mononoke, put this movie on, and she kind of came into the room to watch with them and saw the Amishi people on the TV and was like, that's my family. Like, I'm from the Amishi people. I didn't know, like, descended from. But,
that's
like,
cool.
She's like, I didn't think they were still out there. And because of that, she was able to, like, reconnect with her culture, her family,
cool.
and like reach out to like find connections because of this movie.
That's really cool.
But they're the Amishi. They're also called I truly just ripped this straight from like the wiki or Wikipedia, I don't remember which, but the Ezo or the Abisu. They lived in northeastern Honshu, and they're pretty isolated and like did have to, I believe, completely isolate themselves to survive for a period of time in Japanese history. Yeah. I didn't dive too deep because that's not the point of the story, but I thought it was like super interesting that this whole like, I can't tell people where I'm from and I cannot return because we have to protect the village. For sure. Thing like is rooted in history.
Yeah, I figured it probably was because it was like very detailed, but like that's super cool that they had that. So neat. Yeah, they also have like the samurai and like the emperor and other stuff going on, so it's cool how it all like comes together.
Yeah, it's there's lots of ties to history, even though we very much focus on Ashitaka and then his like journey to like random village number 4 where he like stops a massacre, and then we get to Irontown. And it's just like it's like these 3 stages of the movie, and then it's like so focused on Irontown and like the cause and effect. How like even something that like Lady Eboshi did here in Irontown sent a boar god all the way east to the Amishi people. And it's like the far-reaching consequences that we never considered.
Exactly.
It's like girl, calm down with your iron bullets just a wee bit. Yeah. But it's also like a good thing she did because if Ashitaka hadn't come, then what would have happened to Irontown when inevitably the head had been cut off? Because they wouldn't have had Ashitaka there to help. Yeah. So it's consequences,
a lot
actions.
Of, like, what ifs.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Also, like, it's never a good thing when you're killing off nature gods.
No, not at all.
That's never, like, the ideal for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah. God, it is good. It's all so good and complicated.
Yeah. And that's the point. But starting from the beginning, my notes.
Yes, let's hear you. I want to hear your thoughts.
The demon form of Nago was really cool.
It's
like,
so cool.
The animation was really good. I was very impressed with the fluidity of the animation. 97, like I thought it looked really good. So that was cool. I also I love the deer horse thing, and then when I found out later it's an elk.
Cool.
I'm like, what is that? It looks like a deer, but they ride it like a horse. So I was like, what is this?
I've never actually bothered to look to see if like that's like a real animal.
I feel like it probably is. Like they said it was an elk, and I was like, okay, elk exists.
Yeah,
like
cool, a real animal. Yeah. Let's see what Google has to say for me real quick. We can edit this out later, I guess.
No, it's fine.
But the red elk is a fictional species of sarau, let's like say antlers closely resemble those of the lechwe ? Antelope. So there you go.
Yeah, it's like a deer and an antelope and a horse. Like okay, so it's fictional, but
a version of some real kind of animals. So blending,
which makes sense because I was like, this is like vaguely familiar, but
let's see, the sarau is kind of a goat antelope sort of thing.
Cool.
And the other one, the lechwe antelope, is I'm assuming gonna be an antelope, but I'm trying to I will remember and put these in the these pictures of these animals.
Okay.
Oh, the Lechwe actually does kind of look like Yakul a little bit. It is that kind of red tone. Yeah. So I can see where
if it's stronger,
the sturdiness of the previous one that I said.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
put pictures of these in the Discord.
Yeah. And I really like Yakul so much. He's so sweet. And he's like, no, I want to go with you. Like,
and I like, that's something we see with the Amishi is like the that they are so like in tune with like the nature spirits and the gods. Like they see this rage-filled boar god.
They know exactly what's happening,
and they're like, this is an unnatural thing. This is not how this god is supposed to be. And they still attempt to like honor it and respect it. They are in tune with Yakul.
Yeah.
Like he and Ashitaka are like on a wavelength.
Yeah, for sure.
Like so it's
cool.
He walks that like fine line between like humanity and nature, as space. A whole, which I think is why he's so good with San, because San is also on that line.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
It's good.
So good.
When he goes like west, and he like stops the massacre or whatever, I was not fucking expecting the graphic violence.
Dude, right?
I was like, whoa!
It just slices off arms and a head
just
with
like
an arrow.
out of nowhere. I was like, this is really cool. I love this. Like, okay, this is the type of movie I'm watching. Like,
it's like
the head wasn't that bad, but like you see like the I don't even know what it's called, like cutting off the arms, like that was insane. Like, the animation of that was really good. I was like, okay.
It's so odd because like we saw him fight before when he was like going after the boar spirit, and he just like it's like a normal attack with a bow and arrow. It's normal. Well, and then he goes against these people, and it's just like, oh, there goes some limbs. And you're like, an arrow can't do that. How did you do that? And he's just like, I guess
the
that's
arm curse.
What rage and hatred will do to a guy. I can chop off heads now.
It was crazy.
That seems bad. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, I was like, LOL, he's just chopping off body parts. I love it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But he did stop the massacre because those other guys were like, we're not touching that.
Yeah.
We're outie.
But it was still really funny because it was so unexpected.
God, it really is. It's every time I watch, I'm just like, doesn't make sense, but yeah, I'd also run away.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good. Like, what a consequence. It's like, I accidentally got poisoned by a boar, so I guess I can cut people's arms off with my arrows now.
Which is cool. A cool ability for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I did know. I was like, Nago is filled with hate and rage, which is like instantly recognized as unnatural to the initiates. It's not something that they like, this is something wrong. But this hate and this rage, it is poisonous to Nago himself, but it's also contagious. Like it spreads to Ashitaka. And when we see that, it is like this rage, it can give you strength, and that strength can be used as a tool, which we see like Ashitaka use.
Arrow.
But it also like even as
it will
use it, it is like wounding you even as you are utilizing it.
Yeah, it'll kill you.
So
which is like such a great metaphor.
It is.
Because it's like, like hate does that to you. And also like it is contagious because it's like someone's grudge hurts someone you care about, so then you develop a grudge, and it's just like a cycle. So it's just it's a really good metaphor.
And even like there, to an extent, you can utilize your anger as a tool. There's nothing wrong with that, but once it starts pushing from anger to like to rage and to hatred, that's when it starts to like actually wound and spread and hurt other people and become like a poison. Yeah, for sure. So it's I love that. That's a solid metaphor.
Yes.
It's something that I do think is super interesting. And this is I know I'm cutting off from your notes, but
it's okay.
The thing that hit Nago and poisoned him is like this very unnatural hate and rage came from something that is natural. It's iron. But it's iron that has been manufactured
into like a musket ball
by human hands. So it is a manipulated natural thing. So now it has become an unnatural poison. So I just think that's another like interesting thing to factor into this.
It is
this system here.
No, it definitely is.
So it's natural become unnatural. has become unnatural in Naga.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just more to that cycle.
The cycle. Let's see. Skipping around, the tree spirit little things are so cute. Those things are so
the
cute.
Kodama.
Yeah. And then I'm like, why are they clicking? What does that mean? Because they click when they see him, and then they all click like at the end, I think.
Yeah,
so
and
like,
then like when they see the forest spirit.
Yeah.
So I think I meant to look into this and I totally forgot, but I wonder if the Kodama are just sort of an explanation for like, you know, the sound of like locusts in the summer.
Yeah.
Before they
Cicadas.
Before they identified that, oh, this sound comes from the bug. If they were like, oh, it's actually just a little guy out there who makes his head click.
I like that.
And I would love to look into that at some point. I meant to check to see if there is lore to the Kodama, because I don't know, but I just think they're cute little guys.
They are so cute. And also, I mean, like, they are, like, forest spirits, so the fact that they're clicking probably means, like, they're healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we get to later, when, like, the forest spirit is injured and has also been poisoned by this wrath, we see them plummeting from the trees.
Exactly, yeah.
They are not clicking.
Yeah.
They are in a bad
They're
way.
dying. But then they get better.
They do. And we see them clicking again and just like happy in the trees. And what I love about them most, besides just how adorable they are, is that like their first instinct is to show up right next to the injured man.
Yeah.
And next to Ashitaka.
Yeah.
And he, like, they're just like, hello, I can help if you want. And of course, like, he's like freaking out. Yeah. He's like, the spirits are bad for the people.
Yeah.
But Ashitaka's like, oh, hey, bud, can you help us out?
Yeah.
And they get led straight into the forest spirits, like, realm.
Yeah, definitely.
Home,
yeah.
Like, where it could be possibly very dangerous for people.
Yeah.
He's like, this is not where we're supposed to be. We need to leave. And Ashitaka's like, nah, here, drink some water.
Right.
Let's get you a little bit better so we can get you on the road.
Yeah.
Like, Ashitaka's not at all scared. The Kodama are like, this is where you can come to get better. Like, our first instinct is to help you.
Which is a good nature thing.
Yeah.
Like, nature is helpful.
Yeah, it can very much be incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And we see that in a lot of the, like, natural things. We see, like, the Kodama are helpful. Yakul is always helpful. The forest spirit, in many instances, is helpful.
Yeah,
if not to, like, the full extent that it potentially could be, which I think is very interesting. And we even see Moro be somewhat helpful in a very fast... I love Moro, and we will get to Moro later because there's so much conversation to have about Moro. But nature is, like, the way nature responds to different situations, I think is so fascinating.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with that. So this is around the time where we see San for the first time, like up close.
Yes.
And I thought it was like a kick-ass character entrance covered in blood, like
spits blood in the face.
I was like, that is so cool. I love it. I was like, okay, I like them already. Like,
she's like spits it out and yells to go away. And
yeah.
It's like, girl, I love you.
Yeah,
you're so cool.
It's great. I love that. So,
God, she's such a delight.
Yeah. And Ashitaka's like immediately like, I'm in love with you.
he's truly just like, I think I want to hang out over there.
Yeah.
I think that's where I need, like, I feel like that's where my end goal probably is. Yeah. But it's gonna take me a hot minute to get there.
He like imprinted.
Yeah, immediately. I love he's just like, I see some big wolves and a bloody child, and
that's cool.
Are you the wolf? Like, are you the spirit of the forest?
Yeah.
Is this feels like a spirit of the forest situation? Yeah. Is that where I am? And they're like, get lost.
Yeah.
And he's like, so it's probably the spirit of the forest. Okay, I'll be back. See you later.
It was great.
God, I love Ashitaka.
Yeah.
He's very sweet and very earnest.
Yeah, earnest, passionate.
Very passionate.
Yeah.
And never lets people stop him, which I adore. And
got a very strong moral compass.
God, does he. I love it.
Very cool. Let's see. Irontown is very interesting.
Irontown. So many thoughts on Irontown.
I mean, humanity. Right?
Yeah, this is where people try to insert themselves into this very natural place.
But it's like they do it because, I mean, they're doing good things there. They're doing some good things there. Like, they're taking care of the former prostitutes. Like, Lady Eboshi's taking care of, like, the lepers. Like, she wants to help them. And this is her way to help them.
Yeah, the women are they're treated well.
Yep,
they have
very well.
authority.
Very respected.
They are given. If they're insulted, it's not because they are women. It's just because everyone seems to like. They're all joking. They're all being insulting to each other in a good-natured way.
Yeah.
They're all trading barbs. It doesn't feel dismissive.
Yeah, they're very equal there.
Yeah, it's all on a level. Mm-hmm. The lepers, at first, on first watch, I was like, okay, yes, they're being given like work to do and respect by Lady Eboshi. Food is sent down to them. But it's just like Lady Eboshi doing this. But then I'm like, after a bit, I realized, like, no, in the battle scene, like, the leper is up there with Toki. Yeah. And they're, like, talking comfortably. They just have different roles. Yeah. It's like, no, that's just where, that's their workshop. Yeah, that's just where they like, live and work. So that they can be comfortable together. Yeah. But, like, they're also given work. They're given respect by the people of Irontown.
They're talked to.
Exactly. And it's like, these are people who have been through a ton of hardship, who are now in a place where they can be safe and respected.
That's so
and not dismissed, and I like this is what Eboshi has specifically set up away from other villages, away from like samurai who did not bother to like include them in their like protection rackets. Which is like, so like I set up a little flow chart essentially in my notes. So the people of Irontown were here. There was a community here to set up to attempt to draw iron out of the mountain. They needed to eat, so they needed to work. They work by mining iron. They cannot get to the iron in the mountain because there's a boar god that protects it. So Eboshi comes in, she clears out the boar god. Now the people of Irontown can get the iron, they can sell it, they can eat. Well, now Moro is here. She wants to protect her mountain. Yeah. She and her children, including San, kill the humans back for trying to kill them. Yep. Okay, well now the people of Irontown need to continue working, need to continue to spread. They are living essentially independent of the emperor. Yeah. Essentially independent of the samurai. It is a safe haven for unprotected people, but they do need more resources. Yeah. With resources
because they're isolated.
They're now further impeding upon the gods. Yeah. And the gods are fighting back. Yeah. But now that they're kind of more successful, they are selling more iron, they are making more money, they are getting more resources in besides just that they take from the wolves and the other forest spirits, the apes. Now, the emperor wants the forest spirits' heads. We're never even told why he wants that. He just wants it. Jigo is in here just skimming a little off the top of every project he gets his little hands on. He sucks. And then the local samurai is here demanding a tribute of iron. Yeah. Notably, he did not do anything to protect them in the past. No. He just shows up when there's goods to steal.
Of course.
Because fucking mob bosses.
That's how that works.
So like this nasty little flowchart is going on. Yep. In Irontown, and Eboshi is doing everything she can to like stay primarily independent. Yeah. Only satisfied. She's like, yeah, I will do what I can to keep the emperor off my back because that's not a fight you want to pick. Yeah. Which is why she's going along with Jigo. She's mostly just sent the samurai's men packing, except for like what little she can give them. Except the samurai are also like causing problems by killing some of her men at the mines. Yeah, so it's like. Sure. Everything's just falling on her head all at once after she's done so much to create this like working system for people that she can protect.
And it's like, what will you do to protect the people you care about? You know, like that's her character. Like she goes a bit far, but it's
she's admittedly destroying a good chunk of the forest and killing gods. Yeah,
which is not great.
It's not a good system, admittedly.
Yeah, but it's like that's a way that she can secure the safety of her people.
Yeah, she has protected so many people who've been through hard shit, and she doesn't want that to happen to them again. And she's willing to kill gods and spirits to protect them further. Yeah.
And I think like just like that is relatable. Yeah. Even if we don't like it, you know, like
the method's not ideal,
but like sometimes you don't have a lot of choices. Yeah. You have to make a hard choice.
I understand what you're doing and why. Yeah. I can't fully blame you for that.
No.
I just also understand why everyone else wants you to not do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
it's like one of those situations where like both sides are right, and like there's not a clear cut like good or bad side, which is most conflicts, not all conflicts, but most conflicts.
Yes. And it's like you can't exactly be like, why don't you go talk to Moro and come up with a truce, because the truce will involve Moro eating Eboshi.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's just, you can't ask the animals and nature to change who and what they are. No. Because they are the gods of what they are.
Yeah.
So that they truly cannot change what they are at the core.
Yeah.
So it's like even when we see oh god, I'm gonna forget what the head boar is
starts
named.
With an O.
Akodo.
Yeah.
Like Akodo even like comes in, he has taken over the boars after Nago died. And he kind of is, there's just like little bits of like the nature sphere, like the apes in particular are like, we're going to eat the men.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and you look at them and like they don't even look like apes anymore.
Yeah.
It's like by attempting to change their nature, they are no longer their own thing.
Yeah.
They're just shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they have to stay what they are while still like recognizing like the danger that they are facing. And you can't necessarily come up with this truce on the animal side, on the spirit side. It's a difficult, tenuous situation.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's complicated. I love it.
It's good, and I think like Ashitaka is such a good character because he embodies that idea of like you can't take sides because no one is right. You know, he like helps both of them depending on like the specific situation that's happening.
Yes,
and he cares about all of them. Like he doesn't want any of them to die.
Absolutely. Yeah. He like. In the scene, like, leading up to the Four Spirits' head coming off.
Yeah.
He's, like, yelling at Eboshi, like, don't do it. You're gonna regret it. Don't do it. You have to stop. But she does it anyway. She loses her arm. And he comes in and he's like, okay, well, now I've got to bandage up your shoulder because I told Toki I'd bring you back.
Yep,
so
exactly.
He's like, and, like, when San attempts to, like, attack her, he goes, no, your family's debt has already been paid.
Yeah.
Now we just have to move on. We can't just sit here. We have to move on and take next steps.
Like we can't just keep going on the cycle of hatred.
Exactly.
Like,
we cannot stay locked.
Yeah.
We can't stay locked in the cycle.
Which is so interesting because he has the curse of hatred.
Exactly.
So it's like he's fighting against that actively.
Yeah,
so.
He's literally like truly locked in the cycle. Yeah. He is poisoned, he's trapped.
Which makes him such a good person.
God, imagine like how much worse it would have been if it had poisoned like, say, San.
Yeah.
Who is like an angry person.
Yeah. She would like succumb to it more easily.
I feel like she would. Yeah, especially after like Moro died.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like, it's just incredible.
It's really good. Let's see. When San is like attacking the village, and
it's such a cool scene.
It is a cool scene because I was like blown away by like how fast the animation of her running was.
She's so fast.
Very fast and very fluid. Like it was really well done. I was like, damn, that's really good actually.
Yeah, the animation is incredible.
Yeah.
Watching her fighting style is
really
interesting
cool.
Because she's like, she is like moving. Not like you watch her type of fighting versus like Eboshi or the women or like any of the guards, and it's an entirely different sort of movement happening
for sure
because she's not human.
She's trained differently.
And it's like, and that's a whole like thing with her is that she's a wolf until the end when she can't be but she fights as a wolf. Her knife is her fang, and like even when she falls off the roof, which I love this, she is like all but unconscious. She falls off the roof. She still lands on her feet like a cat. Which is not necessarily a wolf thing, but it is an animal thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love that they did for that. And then like her fight with Eboshi where she's got the knife.
It's good.
And Eboshi's got like her sword and her hairpin and like it's so cool watching them, and Eboshi's so cool too.
Yeah.
Eboshi's really cool is the thing. She dresses cool. She's so protective of her girls. She calls those two women in when San comes in because she's like, you two deserve your revenge against her. which like again is that whole like
cycle.
It's building up. It's like she killed your husband's, you get to kill, so it's like let's keep that loop going, ladies. But also it's like you're giving them closure, so it's like I also kind of get it.
It's definitely like relatable.
Yeah.
Which is why the movie is so good.
Yeah,
because it's like we can't choose.
You can't blame them.
Yeah,
you get it.
You understand.
I love it. Also, really Eboshi's outfits are always on point.
Oh, for sure.
I love her.
I wrote down a few lines specifically. So the one of the lepers says, "Life is suffering, but we still find reasons to keep living."
That's so good.
That was a great line coming from like a person like that.
Yeah, there is. I'm gonna branch off of that just because my brain
go for it.
And it's only that. So I watched Drawfee. For anyone who is not familiar, Drawfee is a YouTube series. It's got 4 artists. They do art and comedy together. It's a good time. But there was one episode where I don't even remember the context, but one of them, Nathan, just goes, "Yeah, life is pain and suffering. What's up?"
Yeah.
And I have that quote burned in my brain.
Yeah.
And it's great. I think they have a sticker that says that now, actually, in their merch.
Nice.
But you said that, and I just assumed the "what's up" was going to follow that.
Mm-hmm. No.
We just don't, because that's not related to the movie at all. But anyway, check out Drawfee if you want to read that shit.
It's just like the same kind of message of like, this fucking sucks, but like it still matters that we're here.
Absolutely.
And like there's still things that make it worth it.
It's much more poignant when like a leper says it than when Nathan says it in a joke in a YouTube show.
Yeah,
but it's a solid, like we have to accept the good with the bad, or the bad with the good.
Yeah. And it's like,
worth it sometimes.
It's worth it. And I think that's very very true for like current political situations around the world, but
just in general, nothing specific.
But there's a few I have definitely like said this before in other episodes. But the Mary Shelley quote, "Life, although it may only be an accumulation of anguish, is dear to me and I will defend it."
It's so good.
It's such a good quote. Mary Shelley.
Did you know Mary Shelley's like a good writer?
Yeah.
Like, did you know that?
Yes.
God, I love her.
It's just so good. Like, that is like my whole thing.
It's solid.
Yeah, I really, really like that message. So I was like, yes, I love that.
It's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. And then we've already talked about this, of course, but just like the general like pointlessness I got from that, of like pointlessness of war, you know?
Yeah, there's like a lot of that.
I mean, it does have a point because you're trying to like protect things, but it's also like pointless because it just keeps going and going and going and going, like, and you don't really win anything.
Like when you get to the end of the movie, there are people from Irontown that are dead. Yeah. A ton of like
their village gets
Chigo's
like,
guys are
away.
dead. A bunch of the samurai's guys are dead.
Yeah.
And God knows what happened to like the various forests. Like Moro is gone, Akoto is gone.
Yeah.
Like there's so many dead.
Yeah.
And we are back to the beginning with Irontown needing to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Ashitaka is just kind of homeless. I mean, he's gonna go with Irontown and help them. San is gonna go be with her siblings, but like Moro's gone, and it's just like, okay, we're just back at the beginning, and is the fight just gonna start again?
That's what I was thinking.
There's no necessary closure there.
No, there's not.
You don't know for sure.
Because it's like they'll rebuild Irontown, then they'll start to mine the mountain, and then like the wolves
they'll rebuild the forge, like, and they'll still need the iron ore.
Yeah, and like they don't want to leave because that's their home. Like,
exactly.
So it just continues and continues and continues, and it's a bit pointless, but it's like you still have to keep going in spite of that. So
there's still a very solid question of what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Are we okay or are we not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a little more hope because like Eboshi acknowledges like what Ashitaka did, and that there is more acknowledgement of nature that needs to be made.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean things are going to change, because Irontown is an iron town.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't just ignore that.
No.
So it's fascinating.
Yeah, but I think talking about the end, I have a few more quotes.
Yeah, please.
I think San says, it's over, the forest is dead, and Ashitaka's the two of us are still alive, though. We're still alive. Even if we, lost our fight, we still survived, and that counts.
Yeah.
That means something. So I like that.
There's still action we can take, and we are still alive.
Yeah.
We
can still live.
There's still more to do. Not even in a work way,
no.
but in a
we can exist.
We can continue.
Yeah. And there's also one of the last things they say after the forest spirit fully dies and everything. I can't remember what San said, but Ashitaka says that the forest spirit, he's telling us to live. Mm-hmm. That's why the grass grows back and the flowers go back and stuff.
I'm obsessed with that transition of everything coming back to life. It's so beautiful,
because it's even though all this horrible stuff happened, you still have recovery and rebirth, and you still live. That is the most important thing.
Life can always come from death.
Yes,
which was really exactly what the forest spirit was.
Yes.
It was a god of death and life.
Both.
And you saw as it would take a step, that everything would die beneath its foot and then come back to life.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And then as everything started to you get that long shot of just the hillside, and nothing happens, and then nothing happens, and then nothing happens, and then there's just a little hint of green.
Yep.
And it just, I'm obsessed with it.
No.
And then you get the little details starting to come and everything, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
After all of that hardship and blood and beheading and running and panic and fear and injury, that life can still come from that. And
it's still a cycle, but a good cycle, because it's even though it will get worse, it will also get better.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. We can still always get some beauty out of and not to trivialize the hardship.
No.
But we can learn from mistakes, and we can move forward from there and improve ourselves from it.
Yeah. Or we can still continue on.
Exactly.
Maybe not everyone, but as a whole, and that still matters.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then also talking about the forest spirit.
Forest spirit.
He looks
so
freaky as fuck.
He does, right? It's a weird looking that. I love it.
When we just saw the silhouette at first, I was like, oh, it's just a deer with a lot of antlers. But then we see what it actually looks like. I'm like, oh no, it's a face.
The face is so bizarre.
It's so good though.
He's just a weird little freak, and I love him.
It's so freaky. I love it.
To be fair, we are warned. I can never by Toki's husband.
Okay.
When he's injured and whatever, and laying on the ground, he's we have to be careful. There's a spirit, and he's creepy, and it's a deer, and then it has a human face, and blah blah blah. But it's in his ramblings that's happening in the background,
and
so
you
don't notice
it.
But he does basically just gets a deer with a human face.
Yeah.
And then you see off in the distance the silhouette, and you're like, oh, I bet it's so majestic.
Yeah.
And then we see it, and he's just hello.
It's so
me.
weird.
And you're like, hello, buddy.
It's so weird. I love it though.
And then you see his Nightwalker
which
form,
is
which
cool.
is so cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
And just hanging out.
And I feel that's also a legitimate cultural myth thing, of a yokai, but because it's also in Avatar, when Aang is in the North Pole, he has that sort of thing going on. And I was like, this is probably a myth in Asia.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, so I think it's super cool. And they were you can't look at it, you're not supposed to look at it.
Don't look at it.
Yeah,
it's there. Look in the other direction.
Yeah, you do not want it to notice you.
Don't do it.
Which means
just don't look.
It means it's sacred. If you don't look at something, you are humble before it. It's sacred. So it's pretty cool.
Sorry, we just talked about humble. I remember this stupid Indiana Jones, like a humble man kneels and gets chopped in half by the kneeling blade.
No, for sure.
I'm still bitter about that one.
Go listen to our last episode on
go listen to our Indiana Jones episode. That's like 8 million years long.
Yeah.
We got real into it.
We did.
How long did it end up being? Like
an hour and a half, I think. I don't know. I haven't like
an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe. Something like that. It's
not crazy. We had a lot to say.
We talked about
all of them.
5 movies?
There's 5.
It's not that long for 5 movies.
No.
Anyway,
we had to split Scream up, and that was 6 movies.
Yeah.
So
it tracks. We should have split that one up. We just didn't plan ahead.
No, I did not plan ahead. But like talking about the Forest Spirit too. God, I don't know if you also got this, or if it's just my like Western Christianity mind. Because he walks on water. So I was like,
you're like, it's Jesus. That funky deer is Jesus.
I'm like, is this intentional or is this just like a coincidence that I'm just picking up on, because of the coincidence?
I do think it's more of a coincidence.
Okay, that's fine. It's just like, I'm getting that.
I don't think he lost faith in himself and started to sink when he got shot.
Nah.
Excuse me. But,
no, I thought that was funny.
But no, that is, like, I did think that was really cool, though, the first time he gets shot when he does start to sink.
Because he, like, loses a little strength.
Yeah, and then he's just like, okay, I'm better now, and then, like, steps back up to the surface.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was really neat. I think the Forest Spirit is just, like, so fascinating. Mm-hmm. Guys, I'm so sorry.
We love eldritch gods, so... like very base nature gods.
Because it like, God, okay, I think I'm good now.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm like, allergies.
You're fine. I know.
So like, yeah, we see it a couple of times. First in the distance, we see it when like Ashitaka, it needs healing and it heals Ashitaka, but it doesn't heal the like rage poisoning.
Yeah.
Which is like so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you get to keep that. You enjoy that.
Yeah, it's like you don't know what it's gonna do at all.
And it makes sense because it is an entity of nature, and nature is it's wild.
Yeah.
It is chaotic. It is like, it's not a pet.
No.
It's not trained. It is not like corralled within a routine, except that the sun sets and rises.
Yeah.
It is the forest, and you never know what you're gonna encounter out there. So like, why would it do things that you want it to do? Yeah. It's like, sure, I will heal you, but not all the way.
Yeah.
And like, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I am being kind to you because I can. Yeah. But that's fine.
Yeah.
And then like when it goes to Moro and Akoto, it doesn't heal them.
No, it kills them.
It takes their life. Because it's like, all right, you guys played your part.
Yep.
Good job.
Yep.
Well done. Good night.
Yeah. It's basically, I think, like, absorbing them, too.
I think it is, yeah.
Because, like, they are also nature gods. So, just, like, little different, like, subtypes of animals and stuff. So, I feel like it just absorbs them.
Yeah, I agree. It does seem to kind of... It's because it, like, kind of rests against Akoto.
Yeah.
Which I think is just, like... It's so interesting.
It's cool.
I like the forest spirit. Yeah. Because it's just, like...
it's so unknowable.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And it's like, we see different aspects of nature in the different tribes.
Yeah.
God, I'm so sorry. I'm making so many sounds.
We'll get through it.
Because like, we see that some are more violent than others.
Yeah.
Whereas some are more like quick to anger. Some are like
protective.
Yeah. So we see like the boars like
stubborn.
Are very defensive and very stubborn. We see the apes are like attempting to use like intelligence. They're like, what if we strategize? What if we attempt becoming more than we are?
Yeah.
The wolves seem to be the most grounded in that they're, especially like Moro, who is like trying to like, no, this is my mountain. I stay on my mountain. I don't bother with the other mountains. And these are my children, so I protect my children, but also they need to go and learn their thing. I'm not going to do more than I need to do. I'm going to defend. I am going to only attack when I need to attack.
Yeah.
And it's very just like, I only do what is needed and no more. Whereas like the boars, I think I kind of noted it down to pride.
Yeah.
Because like they kept running over to like Moro's mountain. And she's like, go back to your own mountain. I've got this one. And they're like, no, we're doing this mountain now, actually. We're coming here and we're going to fight. And because of that, they like, Akoto also doesn't recognize when all of his tribe is dead and like now these humans are disguised. He goes, oh, that's my tribe. They're just back. We're going for it. Yeah. And like refuses to listen to warnings. They don't back down when they are told they don't know like what the threat is. Yeah. Like they're prideful, which is, it's just like these different like temperaments in the animals that it's like kind of just like different aspects of nature. Not that I would ever be like, oh yeah, nature is too proud. No. But you know what I mean? It's like, everything. It's unflinching.
It's everything.
So it's just like, so fascinating.
And I think too, like the difference of approach of like Moro's more, I would say, isolationist. And then like the boars are more like active and like getting involved. Yeah. And I think both of those have a time and a place, you know? Like neither one of them is better in all situations. So.
Yes. And I think, like, that's why when, like, San was like, oh, the boars are being led into a trap. I'm going to go help them. I'm a wolf, but I'm going to act with the boars. Yeah. And Moro was like, yeah, cool, go. Go.
Like, she, like, lets her do that.
Yeah, she's like, do it. Yeah. Like, totally. Yeah. I do think it's interesting that, like, Moro has managed to stay, like, relatively, like, sane compared to the other, like, elder gods that are there. Yeah. Which is just, like, how has Moro managed to do that?
Yeah, I think
just like it's interesting.
I think Moro also has like a very soft spot for her kids. Yeah. She lets San do whatever she wants.
San doesn't do anything she wants.
It's great.
She doesn't tell San no, like at literally any point.
No, yeah, like she can disagree, but if she's gonna do something, then Moro's like, okay,
all right. Don't die, I guess.
Which I really like, and is very supportive. Yeah. So that's good. And also, Hunter just informed me that Moro is voiced by Gillian Anderson.
Yes, she is!
We have said multiple times on this podcast, like, we love Gillian Anderson.
Gillian Anderson, our beloved.
I love Gillian Anderson.
Scully, Bedelia, Stella Gibson from The Fall, if anyone's seen that. God, I love Gillian Anderson.
I love
she's
Gillian.
Phenomenal.
She's so great.
And she's so good as Moro. She's got that like kind of husky wolf tone like put over her voice. And it's just like, she's so good.
Yes. When I was watching it, I'm like, that sounds like Gillian Anderson. Like, I don't want to say it is, but it is. Like, that's who I was thinking of. I'm like, that's her voice. And I'm so glad I was right.
Yeah, you were. One thing, I actually have a couple of other names that I will bring up in a minute. But one of the things that I love about this movie and how they do the voices is that they don't make the animal mouths move to the voices.
No, they just open their mouth. They just kind of
open and close. Yeah. It's not, and like, maybe they move a little more accurately to like the Japanese voices, but I doubt it. Yeah. I think it's just like, I am vocalizing and you are hearing the words you need to hear.
Yes, for sure.
Which I adore.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that. Yeah, it's more like, my mouth is opening because speech is happening, but the words are probably more coming through like mentally.
Yes, for sure.
Which I just think, I just think that is like a better way to do it than like animating.
No, for speech, sure.
Because these are like
they're not human,
like animal spirits. Yeah, which I just adore.
No, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Gillian Anderson, my beloved, I adore it.
Yes.
Some of these are funny that I saved. For example, Toki. Was voiced by Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, what? Yeah. Okay, that's crazy.
Who I did, because I noted, like, credits for most of these names, mostly as are relevant to one of us or to the podcast. Okay. So I credited Jada Pinkett Smith with Maureen from Scream 2.
Fair.
Because, of course, I did. Jigo is Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh my god.
So I didn't even credit him. I was just like, it's Billy Bob Thornton.
We love Billy Bob.
Ashitaka is voiced by Billy Crudup, who has a lot of stuff that I didn't really know, but he was Orem in Alien Covenant.
Okay.
He's just one of the guys in Alien Covenant. I have only watched that movie once.
Yeah.
I mostly don't remember who has what name, but he was Orem in that one.
Okay. I don't remember who that was either.
I know, right? So
okay, cool, good for him.
Gonza is Joe DiMaggio, aka everyone in Futurama and Disenchantment, and also in pretty much every animated show ever.
I just know Joe DiMaggio. Was he the one that was married to what's her name?
I have no idea.
Sofia Vergara.
I have no idea.
It might be someone completely different.
I don't know anything.
Okay.
About anyone. I know nothing.
Okay, continue.
Lady Eboshi is Minnie Driver.
Oh, yep. She's in Our Flag Means Death season 2.
Yep, she's Aunt Bobby.
Yep.
She was also, fun fact for you, she was Mandy in Ella Enchanted. She was Jane in Tarzan, and then for me, she was Carlotta in Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, cool.
Which is very funny to watch this movie, trying to imagine her with the Carlotta voice, which is a very entertaining experience. San was voiced by Claire Danes.
Oh, yeah, Claire Danes. Married to Hugh Dancy from Hannibal.
Evane in Stardust. She was Cosette in a 1998 production of filming of Les Mis.
Okay.
And then was Juliet in Romeo plus Juliet.
Which we love that fucking movie.
Love it.
I love that movie.
Those are the only ones I noted down.
Okay, yeah,
there are a lot of names and a lot of voices, and
that's cool.
Those were just the ones I grabbed.
Yeah.
But, and yeah, Gillian Anderson was the most important person on this list.
Something else that I realized I had seen before when I watched this movie, I didn't know was from Princess Mononoke, but it's like that shot where like someone shoots an arrow to Ashitaka and he like catches it with his teeth and then uses it to shoot them back, and it's a very fluid motion.
Yeah, that's a really cool shot.
And I had no idea where it was from, but I had seen it multiple times, so I'm like,
nice.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That was cool to see.
It's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say, since you got to do some quotes, I did note down I think 2 quotes. Yes.
Okay.
So one of them was, it's by Moro, and I hear it. It just always gets me, like, every single time. And it's when she's talking to Ashitaka while San is asleep. And she says, "My poor, ugly, beautiful daughter."
Yeah.
It's neither human nor wolf. And she says it with, like, so much, like, conviction. And it's just, like, it so clearly displays, I think, her love for San, because she says she's ugly because she is not a wolf.
Yeah.
But she is beautiful because she is not a wolf.
Yeah.
She is neither human nor wolf, but she is beautiful to me, but she is ugly and not being a wolf.
Yeah.
And I just, it so perfectly encompasses what she feels for San. And just, like, the way Jillian says it is just beautiful to me.
It is, like, that unconditional love. Like, you know someone, all their good and bad, and, like, you still love them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, every time I watch that conversation, I just am like...
good, for sure.
It's so good. Yeah. I adore Moro as a character. And then at the end of the movie, when... like, the forest spirit is, like, raging, has almost, like, flooded everything.
Yeah.
San and Ashitaka have cornered Jigo, and they, like, Ashitaka says, "Human hands must return it," meaning the head.
They all have human hands.
Everyone right here has human hands, but San reaches in to help lift the head up.
Yeah, she does.
She embraces her own humanity there.
It's good.
After fighting it through the whole movie, like, because he's like, "Oh, like, yeah, you're a human," or like, "Oh, you're beautiful," or like,
and
"You're
like,
human too," and she's like, "I'm a wolf."
Yeah, multiple times.
But, like, right then, she doesn't even hesitate. She just grabs it and helps lift the head. And I love that, because, like, Moro has clearly never, like, denied that she was also human.
Yeah.
So it's only San who, like, refused to acknowledge her humanity.
Yeah.
And it's at this point that she's like, "No, I am both." And is willing to do that to help. Yeah.
And that's always a good message of, like, if you are, like, mixed race, or, like, if you're, like, grew up somewhere different or whatever, like, you are both of those things. Like,
yeah, you can be both.
Yeah, and that's always, like, hard for people, but I think it's really good.
Yeah. So I
you don't have to choose different, like, parts of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And, like, even at the end of the movie when, like, Ashitaka says, "I'm gonna go help rebuild Irontown," and San is like, "Yeah, I'm going back with the wolves to, like, help with everything there."
but they're like, but we'll still visit each other.
Yeah,
like
we'll see each other. It's not all the time, but we'll see each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's like solid. There's no promises there. There's no like expectations. It's just we are going to do the work we're going to do, and that's enough.
Yep.
Oh, and this kind of bounces off. I was actually telling Rachel this before we started recording. There was something I learned when I was setting up or like getting my notes together for this, which was that at the very beginning, when Ashitaka is getting ready to like leave his village. We see his little sister Kaya, as he's like sneaking out of the village. Leaving. She like runs out, and she gives him the obsidian dagger and tells him to like keep it. He's like, I gave this to you, and she's like, no, keep it so you remember me. And he takes it and he leaves. But what I learned is that was actually a slight translation error. Yeah. And it comes from what Kaya called him was Oni-san, so big brother, but not in the direct literal big brother, but in a familiar, older, like, person that I know and care about kind of way. And that they're not siblings, they are in fact betrothed. And that the obsidian dagger in Amishi customs is a betrothal gift. It's a symbol of marriage or betrothal. So the dagger was something Ashitaka had given to Kaya previously. But now that he's leaving, she gives it back to him. One, so that it's something he could maybe remember her by. Yeah. But two, because he won't be returning to the village, she's essentially giving him permission to go out and perhaps marry someone else and not be held back by her. Which means so much more when we find later on in the movie that he gives the dagger to San. Not that San, like, knows anything about this or it would mean anything to her, which obviously he knows, but it's significant to him and what it represents for him, which I think is wild. And I will have to do a rewatch knowing that, just to see their interaction, body language and stuff that was put in the movie that I never, read because I heard the English, the sibling English language there. But I think that's a fabulous additional bit of background information. And just additional bit of interaction between Ashitaka and San that on Ashitaka's side, that it means something. It's just a little more significant than it was before.
It means so much now.
It means so much.
It's not just like a general love token. It's more of like a meaningful it's
a very purposeful gift.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's not like I'm just passing my sister's dagger on, which when I first watched it I was like, oh, but Kaya gave you that. Now it's like, oh, we're passing on the betrothal dagger. Fascinating. If you're getting engaged or have intent to get engaged.
It's like I view you that way.
Yeah, I have intent here. I'm interested. Not that he's like obviously pushing it.
No, not at all.
He knows.
He doesn't.
That girl's a wolf. He knows. But
and Moro picks up with it. Moro's like, that boy wanted to spend the rest of his life with you.
Moro knows.
But
she sees.
Ashitaka never says that.
No, he's got other things on his plate. The world is ending. It's fine. Yeah. Or, the forest. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. And it's so cool that he can balance all of that, I think.
Right? Can you do that?
It's just cool to, see that of, I do really like you, and I also have this other stuff going on. They can both exist.
You're a wolf. Yeah. I'm cursed. Irontown might be destroying the forest. Let's talk later. But, later. Yeah. This is the priority here. Yeah. It's fine. It's great. I love it. I just thought that was an incredible little detail. And, beautifully placed in there where it's not a priority. It's not a huge deal. Yeah. It's just very simple, which suits his character so well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I adore it.
It was good. I don't have anything else that's on my notes, so you can go off.
No, I think we've made it through most of my stuff.
Awesome! It's an hour now.
Yeah!
We hit our ideal time.
We did not go over by 45 minutes.
Be proud of us, guys.
We did a good job this time.
Yeah, I can actually, like, sleep at a reasonable hour.
Oh
it would be
God,
good,
amazing.
but yeah, if y'all have anything you want us to talk about, like, let us know. We'll put it on the list. Yeah, let us know if you really liked this movie or, like, any thoughts you had about Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, tell us fun facts that we don't know yet.
Yeah, for
there's
sure.
always more to learn, apparently.
I've only seen it once, so please tell me things.
Hit us up with questions, with potential topics.
Mm-hmm.
You can hit us up on all our socials.
Yep. We'd like to
I
hear
think
from
are all
people.
just the hyperfixated fan on all
I
of them.
think so.
If not the, it's hyperfixated fan.
Yeah.
You can email us. You can join our Patreon, which will get you into the Discord,
which will be us talking to you.
It's
about
just us posting
things.
a lot of memes, and a lot of posts, and
a lot of
art.
our favorite stuff. So
it's a good time.
Get a little bit more into our minds.
Yeah, we've got some fun shit in there. Yeah. But yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
See y'all next time.
Bye.